Now we have 4 drivers now trying to get away for... Oh! Before I've even gone through the grid, we've had a little bit of an incident on the start-finish line. Karel Stout has just been hit from behind by, looks like Fernand Franco trying to get off the starting grid, and Karel Stout is at a standstill. He's not the only one now, because that looks to be the 197, also Francis Mathis Soubadou. Drama before we've even got going in Minimax for the second final. So they're trying to now... That looks like we're going to have a fifth of the field not taking the start, or are we? So now, Karel Stout looks to have gotten started again. So straight away, an initial incident before we've even gotten racing has had one retiree in the form of the 197 of Francis Mathis Soubadou. A real shame, as the French driver was set to start on the inside of row number 3. Renault Fernand Franco, having hit the back bumper of Karel Stout on that particular occasion, I don't think was what either of those drivers was particularly wanting. So Tam Saleh will start on pole position, having taken a maximum score in final number 1. Karel Stout hopefully will catch up to the rest of the field and then try and get an opportunity, as we have the 107, I think I've just seen, of Boulouet just crossed the start-finish line. So now the drivers are starting to close up in terms of their formation ahead of their second and last final of the weekend. Currently, the points are as thus: Tam Saleh on 25, Karel Stout on 20, Thiemen Huben on 16, Jasper Leenerts on 13. So, in many respects, you could have 4 of these drivers having an opportunity to potentially take the ticket to Portimao a little bit later on after we go racing. So the sole French representative, Mathis Soubadou, not running in this race, as we are waiting for the 2 that are trying to catch up to the field. We had 4 nigh-on non-starts on the grid. So on pole position, it should be, as now Karel Stout tries to get his way to the front of the grid and should slot in front of Jasper Leenerts, which now happens. 9 drivers going into battle. So it is Saleh, Stout, Huben, Leenerts. There's no Soubadou here. Renault Franco, Aljaz, Radenkovic, Loet, and Stevens. 11 minutes set on the timer. Red lights on the starting gantry for one final time to conclude the inaugural Mini-Max race weekend in Euro Trophy history. Revs rise, lights go out, and instantly Renault Franco is out in terms of trying to catch up with everybody. The car is breaking down, it looks like. There's a mechanical drama there, and I think now Renault Franco bangs the steering wheel in frustration, as now Jasper Leenerts drops out of the top 4. Karel Stout being hounded now by Thiemen Huben as Tam Saleh gets a good getaway. As now that is 2 retirees, 1 before the formation and 1 just after the rolling start took place. So Soubadou and Renault Fernand Franco out. As there's a move up the inside, I think Matej Radenkovic looking to fancy some chances here. Now they come down towards turn 10 for the first time. Aljaz up the inside. Oh, nearly clatters into the side of Thiemen Huben there, going through turn 10. Saleh leading, Stout in second. If Karel Stout can actually catch up to the German and take the win and it gets officially confirmed, then Karel Stout will also book a place at the International Trophy at Le Mans later on this year. So Tam Saleh leads the way by over 1.25 seconds ahead of Karel Stout. Thiemann Huben, Matej Radenkovic. Oh, we've had a little bit of a spinner there, and that is the 1:07 of Bolouet from Belgium. Now back at the bottom of the order, as I have just seen. I think now, has Mathis Soubadou actually rejoined? That might very well be the case, because the French driver's Sodicat is showing up on the timing screens. Battle for second, very much on between Stout, Huben, Radenkovic. Aljaz now factoring into this. Four-way scrap over second place. Radenkovic goes a little bit wide going into the apex of turn 8. Gets a little bump from behind on Aljaz. Looks towards the inside of Huben. And also Karel Stout. I can't believe that one. Radenkovic managed to get past them both. But then Karel Stout decides, oh no, sunshine, you are not getting past. And then Radenkovic loses out to Huben. Gets a run coming out of turn 11. Up the inside, goes back up into third position. Touches the curbs and he does a 360. Oh my goodness, Radenkovic's weekend goes from bad to worse, going through turn 11. The back right wheel touched the curbs and it spat out the 196, a full 360 pirouette, but he's back up to full racing speed. Tam Saleh in the meantime has now got a 2.7 second gap over Karel Stout. Vidmar Aljaz battling away with Thiemann Huben for P3. Huben looking towards the inside through turn 4 but can't get past. However, this is giving the opportunity that Germany's Tam Saleh really needs. Obviously all event sessions called on the live stream and on the circuit PA are provisional, pending any scrutineering and sporting checks post-race, as Aljaz goes wide, trying to go around the outside of Karel Stout through turn 7. But the Belgian... Now, I'm just sort of having a look at the back bumper of Karel Stout's kart, because that was a hefty whack it suffered as a result of the rear end impact, courtesy of Renault Fernand Franco, who is out of the race and was 6th when we went racing. And it looks like, I'm just going to keep an eye, I think that right side bumper of the rear of Karel Stout's kart is dragging. He's pulling in the pits. He knows it's done. It's over and done with. It is, oh my goodness, that jolt from behind loosened the right side of the rear bumper. And that is 2 competitors out. Which means now that Vidmar Aljaz ends up in second position, Thiemann Huben. Now this is where it gets interesting as Bolouet gets up the inside. Oh, this is a dicey little scrap here. Jasper Leenertz loses out to both Vic Stevens and Bolouet through into turns 3 and 4. And they're still battling away going through turn 6 onto the back straightaway, as that's a really good turn of momentum. Oh, here we go. Slingshotting past the 169 goes Bolouet, it looks like, up into what is now 6th position. So I'm looking at the permutations here once again from a mathematical perspective. Tam Saleh at the moment is on effectively an aggregate of 50 points, as down towards turn 10 come Vic Stevens and, well, I think it's, let's just have a look here. That is Vic Stevens ahead of Bolouet. That is the battle for position. So Karel Stout not factoring into this race. 5 minutes and 36 on the clock still to go. 2.5 seconds is the lead between Tam Saleh and Vidmar Aljaz. Karel Stout now will be confirmed pretty much instantaneously as a retirement. Mathis Soubadou is still running and is in 8th place, having started in 5th and having an issue, was pulled to the side and then ended up coming out of the pre-grid. So he's recirculating. As now, again, it's a to and fro match between the 107 of Boluet, and Vic Stevens in the 169, but Boluet is braver on the brakes. Oh, spins around into turn 7 and goes backwards. Oh my goodness. Just when you think you can't have enough drama at the start, this has got so many ups and downs like a yo-yo on a string. And now that means that catching the 107 of Boluet, who was running P6, now has, it looks like Mathis Soubadou trying to close for what is 8th position. But Karel Stout knew that the back bumper was dragging on the right-hand side and thought, well, that's my day done, unfortunately. It's a real shame for the Belgian for PG Motorsport. He was running in Micromax until the current situation presented itself as Tam Salaire goes a bit sideways coming through into turn number 2. But I'm just having a look. Now, who's just set the... Hang on a minute. Vidmar Aljaz has just taken the fastest lap of the race on lap number 4. We're on lap 6 at the minute. So the Sports Still AKK driver has done a 1 minute 19.693. Thiemann Houben has done a 1 minute 19.817. Matej Denkovic, who started 8th, now is in 4th position, has just done a 1 minute 19.887. And Houben now is the quickest of all the drivers through sector number 1, a 31.385. As Aljaz last time around was close to half a second quicker than the current leader, Germany's Tam Salaire. Thiemann Houben in 3rd, Radenkovic, Stevens, Leynertz, Loet, Soubadou, and it looks like Karel Stout's actually managed to have repairs affected and has gone back out in 9th place, but is 2 laps off the leaders. Less than 3 minutes to go on the clock, plus an additional lap. And still, Salaire has been leading from lights out. As he goes into turn 3 and the back left wheel steps up as he puts on the brakes and turns in. It's very much like a front-wheel drive touring car in that kind of characteristic in wet and dry weather conditions. But I've just seen that Salaire has had a little bit of a drama. He went a little bit, I think maybe too wide, trying to find the optimum line going through turn 6. And the kart was trying to not respond, but Salaire managed to keep it planted. You can just see how much Tam Salaire is now working behind that steering wheel. There's consistent corrections, and even going into a straight line when you're going on the brakes. And, oh, it understeers big time. Understeers big time as it goes into the brakes, and the tyres are trying to scrabble for grip, and they're sliding a little bit further forward, even in wet weather conditions with wet Mojo tyres. As long as you've got the right mentality and you're not trying to bury the brake or bury the throttle, when you brake into a corner, go for the apex and power out of it. As now the gap goes down to 1.9353 seconds. Vidmar Aljaz still holds the fastest lap of the race, and that was on lap number 4, a 1 minute 19.363. Thiemann Houben is not being able to close on Vidmar Aljaz, which will give the opportunity for Tam Salaire just to get away, just to keep on going, keep pushing forward, don't look back, make sure that you hit your braking points correctly, turning in at the right time, making sure that the kart feels it's working the right way for you, and then powering out the corner without hitting the power too early and spooling up the rear tyres. That's the biggest test that both Mini and Micro have had in this second final, let alone the first one when we had our only red flag stoppage so far. So through turn 10, and then into the left at 11 comes Tam Salaire. Vidmar Aljaz looks to be getting closer and closer as the time ticks away. This time around, we will go on to the penultimate lap of the race. Salaire leads, Aljaz second, Houben in 3rd, Radenkovic getting some kind of redemption, but probably not what the 196 needs. Still in 4th place, 3 seconds off of Thiemann Houben. Vic Stevens now rounds out the top 5 ahead of Jasper Leenerts, Boluet, Matthijs Soubadou, and the resurgent Karel Stout now round out the 9 strong. Rino Fernand Franco out of the race before we'd even got towards turn 1. A real shame for the Dutch driver, who had been in pretty much big contention up until the end of yesterday, when it all went wrong in final 1 this morning. So Salet will now come across the start-finish line very shortly to start the final lap. 9 laps completed, 1 to go. Tam Salet looks towards turn 2 for the final time. The gap has been truncated by Vidmar Aljaz to just over 1.6 seconds. Thiemann Huben has just put in a 1 minute 19.783, a personal best in this session, as Boluet gets past Jasper Leenerts for 6th position on the road. And again, I keep on seeing that Tam Salet is just trying to just keep going and keep pushing forward, trying to make as minimal a mistake as possible, because even if Thiemann Huben secures what would be 2nd position, Salet, if he was 3rd, would still win the weekend. And now it is a case of just bringing it home and pointing the carts in the right direction. A little bit sideways through the last time through turn 10, through turn 11. Now on the short blast, the run down to the 12th and final corner. And provisionally speaking, winning the inaugural Minimax race weekend, it's Germany's Tam Salet from GKS Lemons Power with a double victory here on finals day. 2 hands off the wheel to celebrate, and a great result for Vidmar Aljaz. Thiemann Huben takes 3rd position, and I think with that will take the runner-up spot in the weekend. Radenkovic takes 4th ahead of Belgium's Vic Stevens. Boluet will finish in 6th ahead of Belgium's Jasper Leenerts. Matthijs Soubadou comes across the line 0.047 of a second adrift in 8th, with Karel Stout, who had a drama with the back bumper, coming adrift after what looked to be a hefty whack before we went on to the sighting lap, finishing in 9th, with Rino Fernand Franco not finishing, or didn't even start the race, got as far as the end of the formation lap and pulled to one side. But winning Minimax here in the first race weekend on its introduction into the Euro Trophy from Germany, Tam Salet takes the win and the weekend with it.